Hi everyone, Dr. Andrew Orr here again. Today I'm going to talk about making sure that people follow through and about the power of change, because if you don't change something, nothing will change. Often I give an example that when people come to see me for, say, for a gynecological issue like help with endo or PCOS or some other health condition, and even fertility, sometimes, we go through all the process where my staff will send out all the mountains of paperwork to them, where I'm very, very thorough. As most people know, my motto is no stone left unturned. So when I send out paperwork to people, I send out a lot of paperwork so that nothing gets missed. And it's not just paperwork for your physical health history and your medical health history, it's also about the emotional history too. So we get people to do things like depression, anxiety, stress scores. We go through health history, we go through every little symptom and I look at everything, the complete picture, because I don't want to miss things. I want to know what surgery you had, I want to know what you've had done before, what you haven't had done before, everything. So again, it is a big process. So before someone walks through my door, I've gone through all those questionnaires and looked at their physical and emotional health. And then from there, I write them up a report. So when they come in, it's purely talking about what you need to do and what you need to do moving forward. And that's why often, when my initial consults, when I see a person, is often between an hour and a half and sometimes up to 2 hours, because it is about being very thorough and educating that patient on what they need to do to get themselves better. Now, what is the biggest shame is that I see everyone that does book in, when they do book in, takes all that time to get in. Well, it's not depending on how long you take to get to see me, but they go through all that paperwork. They go through that 2-hour consult or an hour and a half at least consult, and then you tell them what they need to do and how they need to do it. And I always do it in a step-by-step approach. And if you do it this way, you will get the results. And while no one can ever tell you they can cure you or whatever, but if you follow these steps, you'll get X, Y, Z, and these are the outcomes that you'll expect, and this will help your condition or assist your condition. And if you follow it, and as I know that people that do follow it properly, they get the results. But the biggest shame is when people come and then you give them everything and you spend all that time and you're going through it, and they've spent all this time writing up their reports, and then they don't do it. And then they're often the ones that say, I've been everywhere, nothing's worked. I've seen everyone, nothing helps. But it often, when I see that sort of thing happen, I often know that where they've been before may have told them a lot of the same things. Well, maybe. But we do know a lot of people do get missed and dismissed as well. So not everyone goes through things thoroughly. But I often see these people that they actually go somewhere and then they've probably been told the same thing and then don't follow through. So when you're given information, you have a choice. You have the choice to take it on board and listen to it and actually follow that treatment regime through to see if it works. And a lot of people don't even start it because it's all too hard for them, or it becomes overwhelming, or they'll do something for 2 days and they don't get the change they want. So it's that expectation versus reality. And the reality is that when you've had a chronic condition for many, many years, you're not going to get a quick fix. Nothing's going to fix overnight. It's going to take many months, if not, years sometime to be to where you believe you should be, depending on how long you've had that disease, how bad it is, and your varying symptoms. Because let's face it, everyone has varying symptoms. You might have the same disease as someone else, but everyone is an individual. And let's have a look at, say, something like endometriosis. They vary very, very much. it's not all the same. The one misconception is that people think that everyone with endometriosis had pain. They actually don't. A significant portion of women with endometriosis are actually asymptomatic. They actually don't get any pain at all. And what we tell people, those ones that are in pain, we actually want you to get you asymptomatic, because there's no cure for endo. But if we can make you asymptomatic and improve your quality of life, fantastic. And that's what it, but a lot of conditions will require a multimodality approach. And I talk about it all the time. There's never just one thing. There's not, the one thing I want to get through to everyone, and I come in, I need you to listen really, really carefully. There is no such thing as a magic pill. I wish there was, but there's no magic pill for anything. No matter what anyone tells you, dietary, whatever, there's no magic pill. A lot of things, as I say, it's like running a marathon. It's about putting in the work, training the body, getting the body healthy, you losing weight, mentally prepared, everything. So it's looking at the physical, emotional, environmental, chemical, spiritual, the whole lot. It's about bringing it all together to that 360-degree picture. And that's how you help conditions. And because many conditions have aspects of pain to them, they have aspects of gut stuff to them, they have, you know, they could have skin, like PCO, get skin conditions, and that may be all they present with. You know, they get acne, and we see that a lot. You know, a lot of young girls, they come in, they're trying to put all the face cream on, and it's just, they can put all the face cream on they like, and they go, why isn't it working? It's because the internal working isn't working. We have to adjust that and get that right, regulate hormones. So big part of PCOS. But same with things like endometriosis. You know, a lot of them will have gut symptoms. So that's why they often get missed and dismissed as things like IBS, because when I hear the word irritable bowel syndrome and a woman comes through my door, I'm thinking endometriosis like that. Don't forget to rule that out, because a lot of women are missed and dismissed as having irritable bowel syndrome, when in actual fact they have endometriosis. It's the same with flooding and women that have really heavy periods. Often, many of you are missed and dismissed there too, and a lot of you have actually what we call adenomyosis, or women with endometriosis, they've already been previously diagnosed with endometriosis, and they actually have adenomyosis as well. Well, a whole big issue, and this is why people get missed. So getting back to what I was saying before, if you go and see a healthcare professional who is trying to help you and spend all the time and knows what they're talking about and do exactly what I would do and spend that time with you, then you have to follow through with the treatment. It's no use going to someone and thinking, I'll go there, I'll listen to what I'll listen to, and then I'll run off and hope everything's going to change. Because if you don't change anything, nothing's changed. The other thing I tell people is that you can't do it on your own. A lot of people are sitting at home trying to do things on their own, and it's not working. If it was working, you wouldn't be in the pain that you're in. And pain often isn't managed well either, and it needs to be. And with the right treatment and with the right advice, and if you follow everything properly, you can get assistance with pain and help with pain, and you actually can be asymptomatic. We know that people become asymptomatic. So, but it requires you doing the work. It's like anything. You want to go and build up muscles, it's not going to happen overnight. You won't see any changes in you. And that's the best way to explain it to people. If you're building muscle, and I said, look, how long will you expect before you're going to build some muscle? And you'll say, oh, yeah, look around 6 to 12 weeks. Probably at the end of the 12 weeks, you know, I might see some muscle and some good definition starting to happen if you put in the right training. But it's the same with healthcare conditions. For any changes to happen and for you to start adopting those changes and getting into a pattern, it takes about 21 days. So then after that, for any health condition, like most hormonal changes, will take about 3 months to see differences in hormonal changes. But then some long-term pain conditions may take, you know, 6, 12 months before you notice it. And pain is there's a lot of facets to pain. Sometimes people, we shut off their pain, but they're still in pain. It's because the brain is still ticking over, I'm still in pain, still in pain, still in pain, and tricks your body into thinking you're in pain when you're actually not anymore, and it's about shutting off of those pathways. And then, you know, some people are constantly in pain and everything's like going bang, 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 firing off. And we have to shut those parts down too. And then some people's emotional state is actually firing over and over and over and over and causing that pain and this vicious cycle. So that's what I tell people. Some people in this vicious loop, it just goes around and around and around and around. And part of that is because they need to step off that roundabout. They need to stop what they're doing, and then they need to let someone help them. And sometimes that means someone stopping that roundabout for you so you can get off. So it is about listening to the advice. And I tell people you can't do it on a, as someone who has been through pain and a health journey themselves, which I have been. I know that years ago I needed help, and people helped me, and without that help I wouldn't have got to where I am today. So it is about saying I do need help, and or you know, we've got the are you okay? Well, it's okay to say I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I need help. But it's about finding the right people that can help you. And if you do need help with a chronic issue like endometriosis, polycystic ovaries, or gynecological issues or fertility, come and see me. There's options, again, like I do for fertility. We do a meet and greet. You can do a meet and greet, come in and talk to me about your condition before you start up and do a long consult with me and see if you want to work with me. Or if I want to work with you, I might go, no, I'm not going to work with you. You're too hard work. No, I wouldn't do that. But you know what I mean? See whether it's the right fit, because not everyone's the right fit for you either. So we see that often. It's about finding someone you can work with, but also finding someone who will care, who will listen, which is really, really important. And that's what I do for couples, and people who come in on their own, like for gynae issues or couples of fertility. I'm about holding their hand and helping them through that journey step by step, and every step of the way, not just physically, but emotionally as well, and getting them the right support. And it might mean leaning on some of my own network, counsellors and other people that I can't do some of those skills, or have basic knowledge in some of those skills. So whereas my skill set, I'm staying in my skill set where I help with the diagnostics and things like that. All right, well, if you are one of those people and you do need some help, you know where to find me at www.drandreworr.com.au. And you can go to the Facebook and the Instagram. You'll see where this video is popping up. And in the meantime, have a look at some of my blogs, some of the articles and stuff I put up on my Facebook page and my website, because it's got a lot of useful information. You'll get to see how I work and why I really want to help people. And as I say to everyone, if I can just help one more person, I'll be happy. All right, well, make sure you take care, and just always know that there's always help out there. And yeah, never give up. Don't give up. There's always answers. There's always help. But with anything, it requires you to take it on board, do the work, persist with it. And then at the end of the day, you can judge it. Don't just get into it and go, oh, I've done all this before, and just fob it off without giving it a chance. It's like any information we get in our life. It's what we do with that information and how we act with it, and then we put that forward and actually use that information properly. And then it's about allowing others to help us and assist us in that journey as well. And that's the most important thing. Take care, everyone.